thanks for the presentation, Rachel. it resonated so much with me. There's so much of that we learned also over the last year. And also I picked up some tips from your presentation, so we're going to take that into our programs. So thanks for that. So as Lena said, I am the online and next gen program lead at the Center for Sustainable Finance and Private Wealth. I've run a few different online programs, including webinars and calls for our alumni, but I will focus specifically on the online executive program that I've run in the past year. So this is a program that we have had in person. It's a 6-month program, so with 2 core modules. We've had it in person for 5 years, and this is something that we've had to pivot online really quickly because of COVID, like many other people have had to do. And we've learned a lot through that. So I'll focus on that because actually Rachel did a really thorough job of covering events and webinars. So again, I'll cover 3 challenges and then talk about the learnings that we came out with. So engagement, as Rachel said, was one of is often a challenge, or always a challenge, because you're competing with so many other things on the internet and for people's attention. And that's super important for us because we're trying to get across actual learning content. I think all of the things that Rachel mentioned were like exactly the kind of approaches that we were taking. What was additionally really key for us and for you to consider if you're ever having to teach something online is we had to find instructional designers. So instructional designers are people that actually are able to translate what's in a professor's head into like an online format where people can learn from. And that was super key for us because there's a lot of knowledge there that we couldn't build up really quickly. And just bringing in an external consultant for that was very handy. So the next thing that we ran up against was time zones. This was especially a problem for us. So just a bit of a backstory. We had a bunch of registrants. We were assuming, or we knew that they were ranging from New York to Singapore. When we found out maybe a week before that actually we would also have participants on the West Coast of the US. So really the most diverse time zones possible. So we had to somehow make the schedule work. And we didn't, to be honest. That was a big learning for the first module last year. What we learned out of that is we started getting really creative with the timing and the structure. So we have the second module coming up in our program. One of the ways that we're handling that is splitting groups. So, prioritizing the sessions, like a few sessions that we need everybody online at once, but then for the ones that we don't need a full group, then we've split groups based on time zones. And that's made a big difference. And that makes it work for people in different time zones. And the last thing that I wanted to highlight is a challenge, but also a pretty exciting opportunity. And Rachel also covered it a little bit in her presentation. But this world is like such an evolving context right now. What we were doing last year it won't work this year. There's so many new tools to use. There's, people's attention span is getting kind of influenced by like the amount of time that they're spending on Zoom. So we're having to explore like what other formats can we use? What other tools can we use? Like how else can we approach this to make it work? And for that, the biggest learning is just like learning from others, seeing what's out there, what's the best practice. I mean, I've attended other courses, not necessarily for the content, but just for to see how they structure it. And I think, yeah, checking out what other people are doing is a really handy way to approach that challenge. Unfortunately, after this, I have to hop off, but if anybody is interested in talking to me more about what we've learned about running an online program, I'd be happy to chat. So you're welcome to reach out to me, and thank you for the invitation to join today.